Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author Matt Adams.
Hey guys, this is Joe Highsmith. I just won the 2025 Cognizant Classic. Thanks to everybody so much for putting the tournament on, and it was great. It feels awesome to be the champion.
I bet it feels awesome. Congrats to Joe. You're going to hear more from Joe a little bit later on in the program. Good day, one and all. Pleasure to have your company. Hope you enjoyed the golf this past weekend. It was far and wide. It wrapped up for the LPGA on Saturday night, late Saturday night. I guess that would have been into early Sunday morning, right? So HSBC Women's World Championship, depending on what time zone you were watching it. Is Lydia Ko won, and I say she won again. And a funny thing is with Lydia Ko is that because Lydia Ko has said to all of us, said to everybody, I'm not going to hang around. Look at the graphic. You can see that we switched over to the leaderboard, but there was a graphic that Andrew had up there. I think you had up there, Fleeting. 23 LPGA Tour wins now, 113 career top 10s, a three-time major champion, Olympic gold, a medal to her credit, also a silver and a bronze. She's all of, and this is what I was getting at, 27 years old. 27 years old. And again, I think because, Bobby Jones retired at 28, she said she's going to retire right at 30. I think because she set a deadline, a period at the end of the sentence, it makes it feel like she's older or been out there longer because she's about to exit stage left. The significance of it. So, Dom, you had sent me some numbers just because he does this. He does this kind of analysis of, can you believe this? Give me some perspective. Give us some perspective on the significance of this latest victory.
Well, the significance is significant. Mm-hmm. I mean, the reality is Lydia Ko is a freak of nature, and I really hope she doesn't retire. She has 248 starts on the LPGA Tour. 23 times she's won, like that graphic said. She's got 23 wins. But she's also finished second 18 times and third 17 times. So she has finished first, second, or third 58 times in her 248 starts on the LPGA Tour, which is basically 25%, which means 1 in every 4 events she's finishing first, second, or third. So I did some quick math, Matt, just because this is how I am. And if she retires at 30, and she sticks to her word, she has, I would say, 3 full years remaining on the LPGA Tour, which, based on her past number of starts, she probably has between 65 and 70 starts on the LPGA Tour remaining before she's 30 and decides to stop playing. And based on that clip, that means that she's going to be in contention, first, second, or third, 17 to 20 more times, statistically, based on all of her history and her numbers historically, percentages and whatnot. And technically speaking, statistically, she will win 7 more times and probably another major if the numbers remain exactly the same, if you're talking about stats. Now, that number could change, right? If she's in contention 20 times, maybe she wins 12. I don't know. But if you look at the list of the women who have the most wins on tour all time on the LPGA,
yes,
obviously Kathy Whitworth, 88, there's probably about 16 women that have 30 wins or more. So I think at this point, unless the stats take a nosedive, she's going to crack 30 wins, almost guaranteed, if she plays 3 more full years, unless something changes dramatically or she gets injured. So she'll be in the top 15, and she'll be 30. If she just played for another 10 more years, Matt, she could get into the top 5 discussion here. This could be real.
So you're saying that our question of the day may be a call to action. Should we start an online petition begging Lydia Ko to not retire?
I think
5
a more fun
years.
question would be if you were Lydia Ko, would you retire early? Would you retire early if you were Lydia Ko?
That's a tough one. I think in order to answer that question in the pickleball court of life, What do they call it in pickleball when you go up and you dink it? I think it's called a dink. I think that's what it's called. Let's dink it back to Dom. And have you book Lydia Ko, and we'll ask her that question.
Okay.
All right?
Well, I'm still going to ask the question anyway.
Oh, see if she can come on
but
tomorrow.
We can also ask Lydia directly.
Did you hear me? See if she can come on tomorrow. Let's get that going.
Yeah, of course.
Actually, we've got a really exciting show for you tomorrow. Huge, really huge. It's going to be a great show because we've got Michael Kim, whose name you're hearing constantly now on leaderboards. He was in the mix again this past weekend. He was in the mix the weekend before that. Here's a guy that was part of the 2011 famed high school class with JT and Spieth and all these people that have won multiple times, and those that I've mentioned who have won multiple majors, etc. I think Xander's part of the 2011 class too, if I'm not mistaken. And so Michael was part of that. And somewhere along the way, as people that he was competing against and beating with regularity and sitting around probably having hamburgers with at, junior events, they're out there winning multiple times, making history, winning majors. And him as a person, as a player, he's trying to find his path. Sometimes it takes people longer. Well, now in his early 30s, he's clearly found something, not the least of which is length. When he came out, he was like 270 in driving distance. He's now averaging over 300, just over 300, which is interesting because it shows you how much the players are killing it on the PGA Tour, because even at that length, he's still less than average. He's 87th, if memory serves. So anyway, we got that coming up tomorrow. Little. I didn't expect it to diverge into a promo, but that we're really excited about having him on the program and what we have in store. And as you guys know, this is the Arnold Palmer Invitational Week, and we like to feature the interview that we did with Mr. Palmer, which was done not long before he passed. And we think it was the last long-form interview that he ever conducted. If it wasn't the last, it was one of the last. And it was just so incredible and so moving. And for him to wrap it up based upon how he would like to see his legacy defined and in his typical humble way, it touched on his significance and then defined it in a way that just is him. It's incredible. So anyway, we got all that coming planned for you tomorrow. But today, this significance of what Lydia Ko is doing is where we thought we would start, because to me it is the predominant story in terms of what someone did with a golf club in their hand over the course of the last few days. And she was asked about, I know she's into yoga and the meditation and all that now that defines who Lydia Ko is. She was asked about why and how she was able to look so relaxed on the golf course. But first, Lydia, what has the week meant to you?
I think when you come to the same tournament, the same kind of venue, you get to know the people here. And, I've made some great friendships and, some junior girls that always come with, signs, with my name on it. And they truly make it, very memorable. And, sometimes I've had good weeks out here and sometimes I haven't played so well. But regardless of whether I'm teeing off number 1 or 10 and what time, they're always there for me. And I think that's been the special thing about this event. And obviously this one is called the Asia's Major, so to kind of add an Asia Major to my major collection is really cool. But yeah, overall it's just been a fun week, and I think I just focused a lot on myself, and I think that was the big key on winning this week. Yeah, obviously I was nervous. I wanted to play good golf, but I've played with Charlie and Gino quite a bit, over these past couple years, and they are some of my favorite players to play with. I'm impressed just by watching them, and I knew that it was a great pairing, and it was just going to be a fun day out there. All 3 of our games are very different, so it was important for me to not get too pulled into what they were doing and their decision making. So just kind of focus on my strategy and the course management that I'd set early in the week, and I think I did that really well. But yeah, it's nerve-wracking, but it's also exciting, and it's not every week we get to be in this kind of position, and obviously our goal is to be in contention more and more often, and I think the more times you do that, it's obviously going to happen at some point. So yeah, to kind of have a win this early in the season is great, but it was just a really good pairing, so I knew that I was going to have a fun day, and there was going to be a lot of good golf regardless of what, whether I was going to win or not.
All right, Lydia Ko. So while that sound was playing, Dom, takes a lit match and throws it into the storage bin of fireworks. And he's like, I think it comes down to, I don't even know what you called it, killer instinct or...
Any of it, yeah. You can call it whatever you want. Killer instinct, competitive fire, the burning rage to win no matter what.
So the theory being that
rage.
if you are definitively one of the greatest of all time, there's something burning within you that you cannot stop. You wouldn't think of stopping it. It's not who you are. You're going to do, compete, because you're driven to be the best that you can be. We've got coming up, when is the Valspar? We've got Arnold Palmer Invitation, we've got Players, we got Valspar. So 3 tournaments down the road, but we want to have Rodney Barber on. And I was just doing some research. He comes on. He is so copacetic. He's so, to me, he reminds me of like a CEO of a huge corporation. He's just cruising along. They're happy to be doing what they're doing, And then when you start to look into his career, now, mind you, this guy's one of less than 200 souls walking this earth that are Pro Football Hall of Famers. That's not the total of people in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's the ones that are alive right now walking. There's less than 200 souls. He's one of them. I think there's 24 at his position, if memory serves me. But all of a sudden you start looking into it and you realize, whoa. He did what he did, not simply through the hard work of challenging what he learned and what he earned and what was given, just through the elusive talent. No, he channeled the chip. And to what Dom just mentioned, and what I was thinking about, you tell me, Dominic, Andrew, great athletes, great athletes. I can think of Kobe Bryant, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird are 4 that come to mind immediately that all had a chip. Even if it wasn't always necessarily real, they convinced themselves that there was some type of doubt or slight or whatever as motivation. So that right now, because of where my mind is at getting ready for Rodney in a couple of weeks, that's one of the questions that I have, Dom, is to be one of the greatest of all time, do you have to have that chip? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, of course you do. That's what I was complaining about when I wasn't complaining, but I was barking at Matt and Andrew while the sound was playing. It's 100%. The answer to that question is 1,000% yes. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be a Hall of Famer. You can't be really good at whatever sport. But to be the best.
Who would you add to my list then?
Top 5.
Who would you? I had Kobe Bryant, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird.
You mean in terms of guys that had that thing that pushed them over the edge?
Yeah, I'm gonna put Ben Hogan on there.
I would say Tiger Woods.
Tiger.
I would say Tom Brady. Whoa.
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
No kidding.
Yes. The NFL quarterback.
No, I just never pictured him as sitting around going like, they don't think I can do this. I'm going to show them.
Are you kidding me? He was one of the last players taken in the entire NFL draft.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's infamously the best player to come from the lowest part of the draft in the history of football. And he didn't play at Michigan. He was like the 5th string guy. It was Absolute
All
chip.
right, so we got Ben Hogan, Tiger Woods, Kobe Bryant, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Tom Brady.
For
I
context,
think Arnold Palmer could be on that list.
For context, the names I'm giving you, I wouldn't say that the chip that they have necessarily was a real chip. I'm just saying that killer instinct and that drive to create a chip, if necessary, that's what happened. So I think you could throw in there probably Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, probably both of them as well. I think you could probably throw in there Peyton Manning had a little bit of that, I think. And one thing you also notice with all of these people that we're mentioning, in my opinion, is they all hang on because their competitiveness is legendary. They can't turn it off. So almost every name we've mentioned, I mean, even think about Tiger. They're playing when really they shouldn't be playing. They're done now. It's over now. It's okay. You won. You're the best. Okay, go be a grandfather. Go do whatever. But they just play into the end.
Yeah,
I mean,
but also
Jordan
from a
played on the
fan's
Wizards.
perspective, we want them to. There's very few.
I
can imagine.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, it depends. At the end of like Muhammad Ali's career, he went too far. He fought at the end where it diminished the legend of who he was. But as fans, we want that 2019 moment at the Masters where Tiger does it one more time. Right? That they have something left in their tank. Jack Nicklaus in 1986 at the Masters one more time. Jack Nicklaus at 58 years old in contention in multiple majors thinking maybe, is it possible that we're going to see magic one more time? So I get it from a fan's perspective. By the way, the Arnold Palmer, because I'm sure there's some people going, Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer was playing in the U.S. Amateur. It was in Detroit. I think it was at Detroit Golf Club. You could check me on that. And under contract with Spalding sent Gene Sarazen out to check out this young player, Arnold Palmer, to say, you know what I mean? Even back then, talking mid-50s where manufacturing companies are like, yeah, we want to keep an eye on these young guys, know if we should sign them to a deal. And I'm paraphrasing, but Sarazen came back and said, all he does is lunge at the ball. I don't see it developing into much. And I remember asking Mr. Palmer one time, did you being doubted motivate you? And he was like, oh, I sure did. It was clear that the chip worked with him too. He was a tough guy. Everyone sees Mr. Palmer in retrospect looking back at the smiling grandfatherly man, but he was flat out tough. He was willing to tangle with anybody, including Ben Hogan. Neither he nor Ben Hogan yielded to the other. One at the time the king, and one at the time the heir apparent. And the crowning took place after 1960, according to many, which I agree with from that U.S. Open. So that's why I mentioned him too. So I think it's a really interesting conversation in terms of the power of that motivation. Rondé even uses the phrase, again, I'm paraphrasing, but at his Pro Football Hall of Fame induction, noting that it was a pinnacle moment of 40 years of work, and he no longer had to be the angry employee. Think about that for a second. And the significance of what that means. And I always say that in the context of, regardless of the field of endeavor, sport, business, family, it can be anything. Academic, it could be religion, it could be coaching, it could be anything. Where you meet an individual whose efforts, whose career warrants being called one of the best of all time. And what are the attributes that seem to thread together from one individual to the next? I find that fascinating. So that's why that we delve into this, because we were having these broad-ranging conversations, and then we have this conversation about Lydia, who Dom's going through her stats, 248 starts in the LPGA. A first, a second, or third 58 times. That means 25 times that she teed it up. She finished first, second, or third, which during his prime would put her in the company of more like Jack Nicklaus. Right? I think Tiger definitely had a run where he was similar numbers, but the difference with Tiger versus Jack and Lydia's comparison was Tiger had less second and third place finishes. Tiger was more like Walter Hagen in that regard, where it's I win, and I win a lot, and I mostly win, but on the rare occasion that I'm not in the mix, I'm not in the mix. You know, we're not talking about missed cuts because obviously he has that record too. But, Jack, when it comes to major championships, and Dom, you can look this up for me for Tiger for his first, second, thirds, and majors. Jack was 18 wins, 19 second place finishes, and 9 thirds. Right? I'm 99.99% sure on that. And with Tiger Woods, Tiger obviously would be 15, but his second and his thirds are not the same as Jack Nicklaus. Did you find it, Dom?
No, 7 and 4.
There we go.
For major championships.
Right.
But yes.
Right, just as a comparison.
He has 31 runner-ups on the PGA Tour in his career, which is a lot, but not all. There's only 7 of those were in major championships.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just interesting stuff. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, I do want you to hear from Joe because it's a compelling story with what he did, a compelling story that a kid in college has earned his way onto the PGA Tour. People are like, what? How'd that happen? It happened. A lot happened this past week. We had a 59 shot this past week. I want to talk to you about that too because my whole thing is we're talking about history, we're talking about sports, we're talking about these sports people here doing incredible things, and we had a 59 that brushed us back from the plate on Thursday. And my whole feeling on it is sometimes because we're surrounded by so much stimuli coming at us from all different directions all the time that history happens right in front of our nose. And we go, what? Yeah, it happened again. We'll be back with more.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
I think when you're training for other sports or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm-up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Super easy to hit. Introducing the new PXG Black Ops irons, our first game improvement iron.
It's a larger face heel to toe.
It launches the ball high in the air and really far.
Much higher levels of forgiveness. You set that club down, it creates a lot of confidence. It's supported by this X-Core column material.
And that's where you get improved ball speed. If you're looking for distance, forgiveness, and feel, Black Ops iron is going to be for you.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period. Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
As we welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show, Matt Adams here with you, Dom and Andrew are behind the glass. What you're looking at are Newton golf shafts. They have this unique elongated bend profile. Now, why they have that is to allow you to feel the shaft throughout your swing. You'll have great players constantly talking about load. That's what you feel at the top of your swing. Now, for many amateurs, that transition is so fast and oftentimes so violent that they lose the benefit of feeling it, especially when they can. Newton shafts makes it so you can feel it and benefit from it. It's easy to swing. It is easy to time. It has an incredibly stable structure, so it never gets away from you during your golf swing. And the beauty of it is that these Newton shafts fit a wide range of players, from tour-level players like all those that are using it, for example, on the PGA Tour champions, to beginning golfers at all swing speeds. Everybody. I'm talking about players that might just be starting the game all the way up to long drive champions. Think about that for a second. So it tells you a couple different things. One is there's a golf shaft out there for you and your game. Make sure you're fit to it. I could go down a whole road of talking about different flight dynamics that you think are being caused by your swing that very much are being caused by what you're using. And then there's a whole nother discussion, the kind of silent discussion that very few people are willing to have. And that is, do you really need to go out and buy a new club? Is it the golf shaft? Is it about making sure, simply go back to statement number one, that you're fit correctly and now you've got a profile and a performer that will give you a dramatically improved result with the same head that you already have, or heads. It's that big, and it's that special. Newton Golf, play smarter with Newton Golf. So this conversation that we were having, I feel like continuing it because it's fascinating, but we've got a lot of stuff that I do want to get to. I mentioned to you about pathways onto the PGA Tour that are remarkable and accomplished, and that's exactly what Luke Clanton actually did. Clanton earned his PGA Tour membership via PGA Tour University, accelerated in this case. Now, I'm going to read from you, quote, coming directly from the PGA Tour, because many people are getting in touch with us and saying, what is this? How does it work? Luke Clanton, junior at Florida State, #1 ranked amateur in the world, becomes the second player to earn PGA Tour membership via PGA Tour University Accelerated. It happened on Friday as a 21-year-old secured tour-bound status through a made cut at the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches to reach the 20-point threshold in PGA Tour University Accelerated. Following the conclusion of stroke play at the 2025 NCAA Division I National Championships, which are the 23rd to the 26th of May, Clanton will become eligible to accept PGA Tour membership upon turning professional. If he turns pro, I think he's going to. After the conclusion of his junior season, Clanton will be eligible for open full field events for the remainder of the season, including the FedEx Cup Fall. He would also be a PGA Tour member for the 2026 season. If he chooses to remain amateur, he'd be eligible to accept membership upon the conclusion of his senior season after the 2026 NCAA Championship. His rapid ascension began with a dominant run on the collegiate circuit as the then sophomore captured a breakthrough victory at the Seminole Intercollegiate in March 2024. He carried that momentum forward, capturing titles at the Valspar Collegiate Invitational and the Lewis Memorial, Chittenango Memorial, should say, closing the regular season with 3 consecutive wins and cementing his place in Florida State history as a first Seminole to achieve that feat. He collected 17 points from June to November, marking the fastest accumulation of points in the program to date. In addition to earning 14 points through his play in the PGA Tour events, he also earned a total of 6 points by achieving the #1 ranking in World Amateur Golf Rankings, 5 points for reaching the #1 spot August 14th, 2024, and an additional point for holding that position for 26 weeks, which was achieved on Wednesday, February 5, 2025. He's a South Florida native. He clinched the requisite 20th point by the cut that was made in his 11th start on the PGA Tour at the 2025 Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches this past week, and he solidified himself as the second player to earn PGA Tour membership via PGA Tour University Accelerated, which is absolutely remarkable. Congratulations to him. Vanderbilt standout Gordon Sargent was declared PGA Tour bound in October of 23, becoming the first player to earn PGA Tour membership via PGA Tour University Accelerated. Sargent elected to return to Vanderbilt for his senior season, deferring his performance benefits from eclipsing the PGA Tour University Accelerated 20-point threshold. Upon turning professional in June 2025, Sargent will have tour membership through the 2026 season. Gordon Sargent is incredibly impressive too. I will attest. I saw him play up close at the Palmer Cup. It was amazing. All right, it was an amazing weekend for Joe Highsmith too, winning for the first time on the PGA Tour. Everything that goes along with that, all of the perks that goes along with that. He had a putting change this week, which is always interesting. Recently, I should say. How pivotal was his work on the mental clarity side of the game? It was asked of him what perk of winning is he most excited about. I don't think you'll be surprised by that answer. What were your expectations when you made the cut on the number? Then he goes on to win, which is unbelievable. And then he was asked, of course, how you feeling after collecting your first PGA Tour victory?
Feeling great. I mean, at the moment, it's all a little bit of a whirlwind. I don't totally know what to expect. That was the last thing I was expecting at the start of the day was a win, but yeah, I mean, it's incredible. It feels really nice to just play a round of golf like that and get all the things that come from winning a tournament. So, yeah, feeling great. Yeah, I mean, making the weekend, I played really nice the first day and was kind of trending off a pretty good week in Mexico, so I was feeling good. And then I kind of had a roller coaster day on Friday with 2 doubles and 2 bogeys, and found myself with a 5-footer on 18 just to play the weekend. I was like, man, am I really going to miss a cut? I feel like I played really good the day before, and even on Friday did a lot of good things. But I feel like once I made it on the number, I knew that I was going to go out early on Saturday, and that was going to be a good chance because this course just gets so much harder as the day goes on. And, I definitely took advantage of that. I played really nicely on Saturday. And then the course got really tough, so I ended up, moving way closer to the lead than I should have. And I knew that I was going to be on the opposite side of that today. And I played really, really good today. So it was nice to kind of conquer that course when it was a little easy, but also when it was just like baked and crusty and windy and everything. It was really hard out there this afternoon. So yeah, I mean, I never really try to think about like winning. I mean, all that stuff is just kind of a little abstract. You're just trying to hit one good shot at a time. But, I'd seen a couple boards out there, and just like you get that feeling when you're playing really well that maybe you do have a chance to win. And as long as you don't mess it up, then, you'll end up on top. And I've had a few kind of tournaments like that over the years, but I haven't won too many times. So this one felt pretty good to do it out here and at this great event. Did you say the Masters? Yeah. I don't know I don't want to break any protocol. I'm not sure if I've officially received an invite. Oh, did this go out?
You're good.
Is it still good? But yeah, that's the one. I mean, Augusta National is a place that has a really special place in my heart. I've only been there a couple times as a spectator, and I was able to play, fortunately, with a couple members last year. And I mean, it is just like the most incredible place on earth. And I went last year to the tournament just as a spectator because any chance that I can get to walk out there is pretty, I'm going to take advantage of that. But to be playing in that tournament is going to be very special. And something obviously you work towards your whole life, but you never really know when you're going to get that chance, and it's pretty sweet for that to be coming pretty soon. And then obviously, the schedule changes will be great. It's an extreme advantage to be playing in those elevated events for how much money and points those guys get to play for. So, fortunately was able to get into those for the rest of the year, and hopefully I can play well. But it'll be great, I think, to get out and play with, some of those guys. A lot of guys, those best players in the world, I don't really, especially last year and even this year, don't play in the same events as any of them. So it'll be pretty fun to get to compete and kind of see how I stack up with some of them. And just to get like that schedule will be really ideal. And, a lot of other things that come with the win are pretty special, but certainly Augusta's number one by far. I've really struggled for the majority of this year and been working like harder than I ever have at my game, trying to kind of clean up some physical things and get my swing in a better spot, my putting stroke in a better spot. But I feel like I was kind of neglecting the importance of the mental side of things. And, Beard's always been the one to really help me with that a lot in college. And, this stuff's kind of hard to explain, but I guess just, putting most of the focus and the emphasis on like the process and making sure that you're committed to what you're trying to do. It obviously sounds pretty simple, but that seems to be kind of the way that works best for me. And, we're talking all the time about that kind of stuff. And I'm talking to like my college roommate, Derek Hitchner, about, mental golf stuff all the time. And, there's been a lot of people that kind of helped me with it, but certainly Coach Beard is number one there. And, I can't thank him enough for all the stuff that he's helped me through. And, so it's been great to kind of get back onto some of the more mental things and see that work out well. Yeah, I was at the studio a few months ago, and I was with Paul Vazenko there, and he was, I just told him I kind of wanted like a little bit of a change. It's like the exact same putter, but just like a cooler paint job and a different finish. And I don't know what it is about this thing, but it feels way better than any of the other, because I have like 4 of the same shape putter, all with different like finishes and metals or whatever. But this one has a special feeling to it, and I guess now it's definitely the one that I'm going to stick with. But I made that change I think right before Torrey maybe, and I've putted really honestly pretty well for majority of the year, I feel like, and then this weekend was ridiculous how many putts went in. But that one's here to stay for sure.
Really, really cool stuff indeed. Congratulations to that victor, Joe Highsmith, who has now won for the first time on the PGA Tour. All right, when we come back on the Fairways of Life show on this Monday, I do want to go down the road of some other interesting voices. Consider those, because we're just concluding this stretch, that have fought and clawed their way into the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Now, one of those who apparently did not do enough to warrant their presence at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, shockingly to some, is one Jordan Spieth. We'll hear from Jordan on the state of Jordan, including how's the wrist feeling now with everything that you went through with that. Right after this, as the Fairways Life show continues.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The best feeling iron I've ever hit. Introducing the new Gen 7 irons. The greatest leap forward in irons technology in performance in PXG history. Our new quantum core material explodes off the face. Are you kidding me? The Gen 7 irons deliver groundbreaking new levels of forgiveness, speed, distance, and feel. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that trajectory. Just phenomenal. Gen 7, it doesn't get any better.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Getting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Getting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
As we welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show, let's jump right into this. J.J. Spaun, Jacob Bridgman, both have worked their way into the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Because remember, there's different pathways that players can get into these signature events. The Swing 5, the Aon Swing 5 being one of them. And so, go ahead, Andrew. You can stack these up right against each other. It's just a total of both of them that you're about to hear from is about 2 minutes. But it gives you a sense of mindset leading to what was a very significant breakthrough.
Yeah, good. It was a grind on the front 9, and then the holes started opening up a little bit on the back and made some really nice putts. Hit some clutchish, iron shots on the bear trap, and just kind of gave myself a chance on 18, went for it. Got a little lucky there, but capitalized making birdies. So, yeah, pretty happy with today. My caddy, Mark, didn't want me to. And I usually don't because, I don't want to get in my own way. But I kind of felt really comfortable today. It didn't really matter if I looked or not. But I looked on 14. Because, once you see Woody coming out and the cameras, you're like, okay, I got to be pretty close. I didn't look really after the third hole until that point on 14, and I was like, oh, I'm still in 5th place. So, but knowing that you have the bear trap coming up, I mean, anything can happen. So, yeah, that was kind of the last time I looked at it. Yeah, I was looking at it last night, and if the tournament had finished, I would still, I think, maybe be first alternate, if it finished last night. And so, it just would be a bonus to get in, and I didn't really feel any added pressure. And my caddy and I were just kind of thinking our mantra was just kind of you got nothing to lose today, and just try to give ourselves opportunities and capitalize on them. And today we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's awesome. Kind of monkey off the back. I played decent last year. I never really had any great finishes. Every time I'd get kind of near the top 10, I would be on my last few holes, and I kind of just coasted in and would finish 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, whatever it was. So it's good to finally get that one done. Yeah, that'd be great if I got in. I'd go down there and it would be a wonderful experience. But we'll see how it holds out. I don't know what I would have to finish to jump in there, but because I didn't have the greatest week last week. So yeah, that would be awesome. I've always wanted to play Bay Hill and never played it, so it'd be fun.
So, Dom, did you ever, congrats to both of those gentlemen more, did you ever do a question of the day today, and what was it about?
I did, of course, and it was what we talked about, Lydia Ko.
Okay.
I said, sorry, I'm eating.
Lydia Ko, please don't go.
He always comes to me when I'm eating. If you were Lydia Ko,
He's
would you
always
retire
eating.
early? Well, only when you ask for my help with things. If you were Lydia Ko, would you retire early, yes or no? Right now, it's 85% are saying no. What are you doing? Why would you
What are the
retire?
15% saying? Dom, mind your own business?
No, they're saying yes. Yes, I would retire on my pile of money and laugh.
Pile of money and laugh. All right. Jordan Spieth, I'm not sure whether he's laughing or not, and I framed it by saying he wasn't given a sponsor's exemption into the Arnold Palmer Invitational this week. He was asked after he finished tied for 9th and 14 under this past weekend if there were any parallels between this comeback from the wrist surgery and swing moves that he's working on, et cetera. It depends on how you define that comeback, if it's just medical. And when you drop to 90-plus in the world a few years ago, how is the wrist holding up? How is the wrist held up this week? And this, how was the week in terms of that more generalized progression that I was just relating to that may be about the wrist, but also about the swing? So let's just talk about progression.
It was a lot like Phoenix. I'm shocked at, I get that the overseed was there and the wind was down, but it's still a stressful golf course. And this was some of the best golf I've seen played relative to what I would have thought would have happened on a golf course, in quite a while. So, if you told me 14 under at the beginning of the week, I would have shook your hand and gone home. And maybe even top 10 is crazy good golf out there. I feel like I'm trending the right direction. I feel like I played better than I did in Phoenix. Phoenix is a better fit for me, I think, maybe. And then I just throw out Torrey Pines because I did what I always do there. So it's really not a great judge on where I'm at. And I really do feel like I'm playing good golf at about 60% of the control tee to green that I'm capable of doing, and still able to come to a very challenging golf course and hit nice shots and shoot under par rounds. I mean, I'm my one swing away on Friday from having a chance to win. So it's and that was a 9-iron, which is just a 1 in 100 kind of chunk. So I feel really good. The players, I got to be more patient there than I have in other years, and then Tampa will be good. I'm bummed not to be there next week. It's been a great place for me, and I really wish I was getting that start, but I needed to play better injured golf last year, I guess. Yeah, it was pretty good this week. I mean, it's been pretty much the same every morning when I wake up. It hasn't really. It's just minorly maybe getting a little bit better as it's warmer, but it's very slowly. By the time I start hitting and stuff, everything's okay, and I'm not thinking about it much at all on the golf course, which is really the goal. I just hope that I start to wake up and it starts to feel a little more normal. It's strange. It doesn't feel unstable like last year. It's just simply beating it up, and it's just the scar tissue and some of the inflammation. I think it's really different. I'm in a way better headspace now. I feel like I'm more capable of handling dips better than back then. If I didn't putt well in 2019, I wouldn't have made a cut. I figured something out in my putting, and it was my best putting year I've ever had. But I couldn't hit it on planet Earth, and I was in the last group on Saturday of a PGA, and I knew that I had no chance. So it's a very different situation. Right now, I'm on the right track back. I'm progressing, and I know that I'm on the right track. I'm not searching for answers, and that's a big difference. Because that just means it'll come. But the problem is I'd been so far off for so many years that if that's 10,000 reps, it might take 20,000 to be where I want to be. But I'm already 15,000 in, so hopefully it just continues to get better. No limitations on the wrist. Being able to hold the club in the right place going back is a big deal too. So I feel like I have way more knowledge about what I do well and why I did it well and how to get back to doing that than I did back then. So I feel like I could do stuff like this every week, and back then it was like a crapshoot.
Jordan Spieth. Here's the question, Dominic. Will Jordan Spieth win a major this year? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Want? Like, do you want it to happen, or will it happen?
I say yes or no, and he's like...
I would love for him to win a major championship.
I didn't ask you if you wanted Jordan Spieth to win.
I don't think that he... I do not
So
think
no is the answer. You could have done that right away, and we wouldn't have been hanging around.
No, but how about that revealing comment about the PGA in 2019? It was like in the last group, he was like, I knew before we teed off, I got no chance. No chance.
But this is...
That's the confidence you're looking for in a
but
major
this is a
championship.
guy that's won multiple majors, and for all of his Jordanness, which is part of why we like following him, it's part of the reason we've become... It's like it changed. When he was young and seemingly invincible, there was the Jordan, the super golfer. And everyone said, well, what does he do well? I used to have these interviews. I'd be with, a PGA Tour analyst. And I'd say, well, tell me what sets him apart. What does he do well? And they're like, it's not that he does any one thing well other than, leading the tour in putts outside of 25 feet, which means that he makes 2 when the average might be 1. Okay. But other than that, he just kind of does everything well. This is at the height of his prowess, right? At the height of his run. The Jordan that we just heard from yesterday that did finish tied for 9th on a difficult golf course in that field. Although I would have liked to seen the wind kick up a little bit. I don't know. I'm going to say yes right now. Yes. Save this video. Mark it. 2025. Jordan Spieth is going to win a major this year.
You're on the bandwagon.
No, I'm saying it. I'm saying it.
And give me something. Give me a fact. A fact of why that's going to happen.
It's going to happen
One fact.
Because Jordan believes it's going to happen. Jordan believed, if you listen to everything he said.
Yeah, well, I believe a lot of things. That doesn't make them true.
Well, that's 100% accurate. That's the most accurate thing that's been said for the whole show. Jordan believes that he is back. He may not be 100% back. By his own calculation, he's at least 75% back. He believes that he's ahead of schedule. And when Jordan becomes the artist, in other words, when particularly the putter becomes a brush instead of a hammer, he's got all that stuff he's doing with the swing and all those weird moves he's trying to make, and, more, it looks like he's trying to gear. I know it's
That's
it's
why I like when he looks at the hole when he's putting. I feel like he putts better when he's doing that because it forces more artist. I feel like when he's looking down, he tends to be more technical.
The fallacy with
he's very
Jordan
fidgety.
is the belief that he's one of the greatest putters of all time. I've said this for years. I think Jordan's when he was at his best, he was one of the great clutch putters of all time. When I always say that and people want to sell a narrative, they always go, oh, that means he was the best putter of all. No. If you look at his stats for putting were always average or less than average. At the typical ranges that such a comparison that would be done, right? It's just it was average. But when he needed to make a putt, he did. And I think the Jordan we're seeing right now is having less arguments in his head with himself. He said that he knows.
So which one of the majors? Andrew, put the majors up. I know
think
we've got
it's going to be the
with
Masters
majors this year. It's always the but he could play. He could be having the worst year of his life. He's going to play well at the Masters.
Okay.
So that's where you think it's going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay. There's your list of majors for this year.
Yeah,
before we move on, give me one other major championship winner from the rest of the night. Who's going to win the U.S. Open at Oakland?
Rory's going to win at Port Rush.
Oh, my God. What a story that would be.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're going to be there live, folks. There's a good turn everything into a promo. So
we'll be there live.
Jake Knapp. This is what I was telling you guys at the beginning of the show. Jake Knapp shoots a 59 on Thursday. Right? It was the 15th sub-60 round of the PGA Tour. He ended up finishing 6th. And I love when people are like, oh, he shot a 59, but he didn't even win. Of the 15 that I just referenced to you, and the all-time one was a 58 by Jim Furyk, they didn't win. Five players went on to win in the sub-60 category. He had a 29 on his opening 9. He started with 5 consecutive birdies. He came back with a 30, 16 of 18 greens, 12 of 14 fairways. Strokes gained total that day on the field, plus 9.625. Round it to 10, if you please. He only needed 96 feet of putts made, which you could hear that in a normal mortal round and go like, well, he didn't make a lot. Well, that's because he didn't need to make a lot. He was hitting it so close. I mean, you just heard from Joe. Joe had 135 feet of putts made in his third round. He shot a 64. So Jake Knapp was with us a few months back now. We asked him about, kind of the stuff that I like to know from young players. I asked him about how he views his brand. What is his brand? What's the Jake Knapp brand? How he balances the emotional side. And the emotional side to me with particularly the best of the best is, do you measure yourself, call it self-worth, self-image, whatever you want to call it, against the score that you shoot? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of that flow and ebb of confidence. And how do you keep the confidence on the high, especially for him? He shoots a 59 on Thursday, has a triple on Sunday that takes him out of contention. How do you find the road that will continue to see you progress? Here's Jake Knapp from a little while back. I know this question's kind of a chicken and the egg, but when you said it hasn't always been a smooth ride, what comes first, the confidence or the good play?
I would say the good play. I mean, confidence can come and go. Confidence, it's great when it's there, but that would mean that all you need to do is be confident to play well. And there's a lot of confident guys out there that go and have bad weeks all the time, myself included. So, the confidence is great, but at the same time, it's really just like the kind of skill and will, determination, all that kind of stuff that gets you through it. But confidence definitely plays a part. There's definitely times when you're out there and you feel like nothing can go wrong. And those times are great, but that's just not how golf is all the time. So the confidence definitely helps, but it's not the only piece in the puzzle.
Jake, did you ever have to go through the period when, how do I phrase it? You judged yourself based upon the score that you shot on that particular day?
I think I still slightly do it on a daily basis. I think I wouldn't say I judge myself necessarily. I mean, I think my happiness post round is definitely affected for a few minutes after. And then once you usually have, a conversation with somebody after the round, it kind of brings you back to earth, and, you go back and you figure out what you did wrong, and you go try to, do better the next day.
You obviously know from the year that you've now spent on the PGA Tour that you are your own brand out there, right? You are the CEO of your own brand.
For sure.
Jake Knapp brand. So my question to you is, what do you want that brand to represent?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for me, just somebody who, loves playing golf, works hard, I enjoy the full spectrum of it, the training and dieting and stretching and, leading up to a tournament preparation, all that kind of stuff. And in terms of my overall brand, just somebody that's, truthful and honest, and somebody who, really enjoys it out there, even though I tend to be somebody who's, not necessarily as emotional on the golf course until it gets down to maybe those last few holes or something. But that's a good question. I think just overall, I've just tried to always be myself. Who that is, whoever people kind of want to see me, what they want to see me for. But for the most part, just pretty laid back, easy going. And I just try to have a good time out there.
Jake Knapp on the Fairways of Life show. This is the man that became the 15th sub-60 round on the PGA Tour on Thursday. So big show tomorrow. Again, we're going to start with what I think is a historic interview with Mr. Palmer because he's historic. It's about him and what he did, and we're very, very fortunate to be able to share this with you, and we want to continue to do so as long as we are able. And we're also going to be joined by Michael Kim because, as you guys know, I love the conversation about ascending players. Dom actively tries to book people on the show that he sees as going, you know what, this player's got all the attributes. It looks like they're going to hit heights in their career, and it's happening right before our eyes with Michael Kim. He was in the mix until late yesterday. He's shooting and playing the best scores in golf of his life. So we're going to feature him on the Fairways of Life show tomorrow and find out what is making him click and where he falls in many of these same areas, thoughts, and boundaries that we're sharing with other players throughout the course of the show and the time that we have with all of you. Until we are together again, be well, folks. Thanks, and goodbye for now.